Welcome to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gann, the podcast for people-centric leaders, business owners, and HR professionals who know that people are at the heart of business success. Join me and industry experts as we explore the key aspects of building a thriving company, sharing cutting-edge strategies, impactful insights, and the latest trends to help you ignite your business growth. It's time to rev up your leadership, rev up your success. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Rev Up Your Business. We're going to focus on hiring and leadership today. Future-proof your workforce, hiring trends and leadership insights. And I have with me Deborah Bottineau. She's the managing director of Robert Half, the world's first and largest specialized talent solutions firm. She partners with executive leader business professionals and clients across the GTA to optimize their talent and business strategies. She manages high-performance teams and oversees Robert Half's technology and contract administrative and customer service HR practice groups, driving innovation and growth. She has over 20 years in the talent solutions industry, and Deborah acts as the spokesperson for Robert Half, providing thoughtful commentary on hiring trends, organizational leadership, strategies and career management, and thought leadership. And she's been featured in media outlets such as Global News, the Globe and Mail, Toronto Life, Post Media. Thank you, Deborah, for being here today and really sharing your insights in terms of talent and acquiring talent.
Well, thank you so much, Hilda, for having me on the show today. You know, I think that talent remains top of mind for many organizations in the current landscape. So I'm excited to share some insights with you today and have a great conversation on a topic that is very much evolving.
It's not only evolving, but it is really on top of mind. A lot of my clients and others that I talk to say, yeah, how do you hire, talent? How do you keep them? Like they can't seem to find them, and it's tough. It really is tough right now. And earlier this year, I had somebody who spoke with me on hiring, and she's more of a boutique type firm. And I thought, no, I need to bring in a larger firm who's got a sense of hiring at a different level, as well as the trends. Because Robert, have always, every year, I get the report on the salaries. That's that I love to do before. And I know that you had a report recently as well that came out. What's the name of the report this year?
It's called The Demand for Skilled Talent. And so the timing for this discussion is perfect because we've just released the results of the most recent Demand for Skilled Talent report. And we had the opportunity to survey over 1,000 senior business leaders across Canada. And we really spent some time gaining insights on the current hiring landscape. And maybe surprising or surprising not, almost half of them indicated that they are currently looking to hire talent for their team. And so despite the myth that things may be slow in the business or economic environment, we're still seeing a huge demand for talent. And of the 50% that are looking to hire, just as many of them are looking to replace 4 seats that have been vacated. So although people are making very informed decisions, there's still very much a market of movement and careful hiring and decisions as it relates to making these moves.
That's really good to hear, because I think with the uncertainty of the economy and the uncertainty of where the U.S. are trying to lead us, some people are very reluctant to hire right now. And it's interesting to hear what you're saying. And I think it helps job seekers see that there's hope out there. But it also may help some others who are just thinking, should I wait? But hearing trends of others. Any other highlights from the report that you want to share with us?
Sure. So what I would share with you is some of the top reasons we're seeing people make moves in the current market. And I think that this insight is helpful to employers as they look to shape their talent acquisition strategy. There's still very much a priority placed on compensation, which may not be a huge surprise, but obviously, life is expensive, and so of top consideration to professionals is a fair and competitive market wage. So that still very much remains top of the priority list as it relates to either choosing to stay in a current role or to explore new opportunities. Additionally, benefits continues to be very top of mind. And embedded in benefits and perks is also the flexibility of the work structure. So that conversation has not gone away. There's certainly still a growing appetite or continued appetite for flexibility. And so we're seeing a lot of movement in the market where organizations have perhaps shifted back to an office environment 5 days a week, where the majority of applicants that we're speaking to are seeking that hybrid, the balance in their work schedule. So 3 days a week is very much what we're seeing as a preference.
Yeah, and I think those companies who've just kind of said, okay, COVID's over, let's all go back to work 5 days a week, and they don't think about they don't think about how to create a work culture that fosters a desire to stay. And if anything, COVID taught us is that we value flexibility now. And we as an individual are courageous enough to say, okay, fine, if this is your mandate 5 days a week and there's no other reason than you want to see my face, then this is not the place for me. And they have the courage now to go and find a place where, I always say, love what you do, love where you work. And when you don't, it's time to move on. and so I'm hoping that those who are listening say, well, maybe we really should evaluate that 5 days a week just because, it was what
and
we did
it's also
before.
love who you work with, because the other element that we heard is culture. It's the company culture, and so although individuals in large part are seeking flexibility and maybe a hybrid work model, they still want to feel very connected, not only to the organization, but the people that they work with each and every day. And so therein lies the challenge. And what is driving some movement in the marketplace is if people are not feeling a connection, if they're not feeling that they're a part of the organization culturally, they will find themselves looking for a place where they feel valued, where they feel that strong sense of purpose and connection.
You so relate to what, I believe in. And when I say where you work, it is the culture. It's the people you are with. It's not geographically, it's just 10 minutes down the street. People will reluctantly leave an organization that they felt a connection to, they felt a part of, because of the boss that they had. They just couldn't live with that boss anymore and we'll get into that shortly. But any other hiring trends? This is all really good. It validates what I do for my living, is helping create those healthy work cultures. Any other than trends from the report or your own experiences about hiring?
Well, I would say the other big factor today, as we know, is the continued evolution and the role of technology in running the business.
Yeah.
And so that is changing the core ingredients of different roles within an organization. And so where that leaves organizations is either in making adjustments and upskilling their existing talent, and or going to the market and looking for people that bring maybe more of that technical expertise to the table. So I think the whole movement around AI, technology process and improvement is really driving a lot of disruption in the workplace right now. And I think organizations are struggling in how to adapt. In the ideal world, you have a robust program where you're investing in your people and you're upskilling and you're incorporating that technology into the organization in a way that helps maybe play to other strengths. But it ultimately can lead to some change in infrastructure.
And this gets to what you were talking about in terms of organizational leadership and helping kind of think about where the future is going and building for that. I was just on a podcast this morning where I was talking about, this was for unions and asking, well, where's the future? And I said, well, the future is for HR is really understanding where the future is and helping move it along. And we talked about AI and the fact that there will be new jobs, but not new jobs per se, but evolving jobs. And a key factor in a company and in HR is to think about what are those roles, new roles, evolving roles, and how, as you say, do you provide the education to upscale people so that they can live with those new jobs, feeling competent and comfortable in those roles. So that really is a key thing, and HR and organizations need to think about what's it going to look like. I think we're all still at that early stage of changes. What does it look like? And some people, they're early adopters, and then there's the laggers. Is understanding and starting to embrace it's coming. You can't change it. So how do you learn to embrace it? And how do you learn to make sure that it's still a human-centric approach?
Because and I think that's where the role of HR is going to continue to evolve and become even more important. It's like the heartbeat of the organization, right? And so to partner with various business leaders across different areas of the business, finance, technology, as these groups are moving forward and leveraging technology, how do you not lose connection to the people side of the business? Because there's going to be so many challenges that organizations they're already facing as it relates to change management and technology adoption and upskilling. And so the role of the HR professional, I think there's no better time to be in human resources than now.
I'll put a corollary on that. If you are the kind of HR person that understands change management, embraces it, and knows how to guide it in a way that is adopting rather than disruptive and anxiety producing, this is the great time.
But really
if you are the HR professional that went into it because we're going to create policies and procedures to follow so everybody understands how to act properly in an organization, this is not the role for you to stay in, because it is disruptive in some ways. It is change, and it is humanizing. It is not process driven, and we are to follow the processes. That sense of flexibility is needed for the future, because that's where we're evolving to.
I totally agree. There's an art and a sif, right?
Definitely.
That is very important.
Because some people would be listening to what you and I just said, and they'd be going, I don't know if I like that. So yes, maybe it's time to find a different role, or you understand that this is your passion and your forte, and there's still maybe that role for people to do that. But if you are going to be in a leadership role, you have to be forward thinking, you have to be adopting and embracing technology. And I encourage all my HR professionals, start learning about AI, start using it, and have this mental mindset of, this is an enabler to free up my time to do much more work that will enable others to move forward, not to hold back. So holding back and saying AI, no, we don't want that. No, you as HR professionals and as business leaders need to understand enough about AI and how it will help your business, your profession to move forward.
And that's where I see the company having a great responsibility and an opportunity to really invest not only in the journey for their people, but the journey for their leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are many talented people, whether they're in HR or other areas of the business, that are perhaps struggling to evolve, to transform, to adjust their approach given not only technology, but just the way business is evolving in general. And so, putting a lot of thoughtful consideration into how are we investing in our leaders today, and what tools and resources are we equipping them with to help them navigate in a time of continuous change and evolution.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Deborah, because I think oftentimes we don't spend enough money in the budget to educate our staff, whether they're the managerial staff or the general staff, to give them the tools and the brains and the knowledge to do the work that needs to be done.
Well, and I think unfortunately it becomes sometimes a flavor of the day. So we will see organizations get focused on people or leadership development initiatives. And then at times when the business gets more challenging, there's a deprioritization of that investment. And I think that the organizations that have a consistent investment program in place to develop their people are the ones that are going to ultimately win the day in the war for talent, right? Because
Exactly.
people are discerning. They want to feel like they're working for an organization that is invested in their success and development. And so that's definitely something that we're hearing from job seekers or people that are considering a career transition, is they have as many questions for the organization about, what they can expect from a development and an investment standpoint as the employer may have of them as it relates to their skills and abilities to do the job.
And I think that's important for those who are business owners and leaders of their organizations to realize that, just budgeting, for something sporadically is not effective if you are trying to build the business. And we're not just talking about retention of staff and hiring and recruiting. It's been known through many different articles that those companies that invest in their people, and in particular, my big thing is investing in their managers, because they are the pivotal point. They can make or break an organization in terms of the retention. As I said earlier, people leave a job because of work culture and or because of their boss. It's just too stressful to continue working under. And they'll leave even though they love the people that they're working with. They just leave because it's just too stressful for them. So you and I are speaking the same language. Is companies need to invest in education of their staff. If they want to retain that talent, this is one of the key things that they need. And people are asking those questions for sure. So it's important for us to invest in training our leaders to really be more people-centric, to learn how to motivate and uplift teams and really get them to do that. And those companies that do that, there's enough articles in magazines to tell you, companies that invest in their people, invest in the training of their leaders, show sometimes, one of the studies I read was 17 to 18% higher revenue than those companies that don't. So there's a dollar value, there's a return on investment for these things. So people who just see that as money kind of out the door and then cut that off at the first sign of difficulty, it spirals. Because then the staff are unhappy, the managers are more stressed because they don't know how to manage and lead in a positive way. And as a result, people are leaving, you're turning over, you're spending more money, and your profits are lower. So really there is a cost, to this, but there's a benefit that is far greater. And to cut that out of the budget is very short-sighted.
I totally agree. And I think people are seeking genuine connections. And so that's the other piece is you can have a program in place, but if it's lacking genuine care and investment to get to know your people, then those programs will also fall short. And so I think it's sometimes outside of the formality of the training and development programs that we have. It's the additional ways that we are engaging with our people. And so are we seeking out different ways to make those connections and to get to know our people on a more personal level and seek their input and their ideas.
I love all the things that you have shared today. It's really so refreshing to hear, and I love that you're using your wisdom and experience of 20 years as I am, but you also have that experience of Robert Half and the years that they have spent continuously getting the information that they need to help educate us as employers to do a better job. We've talked a little bit about, spending money to educate your staff, and we talk about careers, one of your fortes in career management. And perhaps we can end our discussion today by focusing on career management from the company's point of view. How do we keep that talent that we've invested in and we want to stay?
I think outside of formal programs, which we've touched on and are critically important, I'm also a big fan of creating a culture of mentorship and connection.
Oh, yeah.
Because as I reflect on my own career and I think about whether it's a career change that I'm looking to make or whether it's a skill set that I'm looking to develop, some of the greatest lessons learned have come from other people in the business that may not be upline leadership, but who are peers, who are maybe more tenured, have expertise in an area that I don't. And so creating a culture of connection. And I love the idea of reversed mentorship. It doesn't need to just be the junior employee being mentored by the tenured. I think there's great value in reverse engineering that. We're bringing great talent into our organizations that have many great ideas, who have skill sets, very technically savvy. And so how can we bridge that gap by creating connections? Maybe it's the tenured employee who is struggling to evolve and adapt to technology, and what might they be able to learn from someone coming into the organization that brings expertise in that space. So I think just balancing your structured talent management and career development programs with other less formal nuances, I think that makes for the right balance.
I love that. I love when you say, you and I are so aligned in so many ways. Because when you said mentorship, when my husband and I had our engineering company, we created a mentor program. And every employee had a mentor. After 3 months, when they get onboarded and feel comfortable, we sit down and had a discussion with them and said, okay, fine, let's talk about mentorship and who do you think you should have. And that's what we did. Every employee had a mentor, and I love that nuanced take on that, the reverse mentorship, because let's face it, the younger staff of today are so tech savvy. They can do things so quickly, and they can give us tips and strategies for those of us who are not quite so tech savvy and tech comfortable. So this dual mentorship, and I think even when we had our mentorship program, our mentors really loved it because they learned too from the mentee, and it wasn't just a mentor-mentee relationship. There was this dual relationship of learning from each other.
Very good.
We could talk all day.
We could.
What's next, or what do you want to share with us before you and I end our session today?
Well, I think it's just a great reminder to everyone, whether you're seeking a career change or whether you're in an organization and you're looking to attract your next hire, that we're all on this journey, and to seek out different ideas and strategies that will either help us in our own career development and or help us to be a better organization tomorrow than we are today. And so finding different people to connect with that are going to share with you new and fresh ideas, I think that's the best way forward.
Well, I've enjoyed our conversation. I think we've had a lot of different um, ideas to support the feelings that we both have about what you just summarized, that it is a journey and each one of us learns from each other to be even better in our journey. How do people get a hold of you, Deborah?
Well, so I'm with Robert Half. So you can certainly connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. You can certainly find our organization and information about Robert Half on our website, roberthalf.com. And we would love to hear from you.
And I know for those of us who are visually seeing you, we just got your name, Deb. So could you pronounce and maybe spell your last name for those who are on audio and who don't remember your full name?
So the last name is Bottineau, which is Bottineau.
And in LinkedIn, are you Deb or Deborah?
I'm Deb.
Okay, it is Deb. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your knowledge and your desire to help people really hire that top talent, keep that top talent.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure. I enjoyed our chat.
I did too. And to those who were listening in or viewing us on YouTube, give this a thumbs up. It was amazing. It's refreshing, and it really helps you, whether you're human resources, business owners, or employees seeking that next opportunity. I think there's something for you all to learn from the conversation that we had. And thank you again, Deborah, for coming on. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to Rev Up Your Business. Thank you for tuning in to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gann. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and Spotify to stay up to date with all of our latest episodes. For more HR tips, strategies, and to learn how you can create a people-centric workplace, visit our website at peoplebrightconsulting.com.